What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So I made this graphic, Timothy Bradley versus Miguel Cotto. It's not a signed fight or anything like that, but from what I am hearing, it looks like Top Rank is really trying to push for this particular fight. Now, I'm going to break down in this video why I'm not too fancy to see this particular matchup. First, I think Top Rank is getting it all wrong. They're trying to make a fight in Macau, China, probably because Pacquiao's tax issues in the U.S., and they're trying to make it with Chris Algieri. And I'm not a hater. Props to Chris Algieri for weathering the storm in the Ruslan Provodnikov fight. But I said in my last video, Chris Algieri, he's a good fighter. He showed heart. He showed durability, tenacity. He showed great conditioning. He showed a jab. He showed overall boxing prowess. And the public is not really craving, at least the people I talk to, are not really craving a Pacquiao fight. And it's like, in the world of boxing, everything's a business. So if someone has one terrific win, like this dude was, he was obscured. No one really even knew Chris Algieri. Some of you guys leading up to the Ruslan Provodnikov fight was like, yo, who is this dude? You know what I mean? You didn't really know much about his background. Now all of a sudden he's getting a Pacquiao fight. And someone tried to make the comparison to like Victor Ortiz winning or Robert Guerrero winning and getting a Mayweather payday. Completely different. Completely different because, like it or not, Robert Guerrero has already established himself. He fought Salido. He fought Vicente Escobedo. He fought those fights in the lighter weight divisions. Then he fought an undefeated Selçuk Aydin after a break. And then he fought Berto. Then he got the Mayweather fight. Same thing with Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz already mixed it up with Maidana. He already mixed it up with Lamont Peterson. And he fought Berto. And then he got the Mayweather payday. So how the fuck is that comparable to Chris Algieri, who his biggest name was an all-out war, and it looked like he was on the verge of getting stopped, and then he had to come from behind victory. I just don't think fighters should be rushed. I think Top Rank has Terrence Crawford, who looked good in his last fight, and then you had Chris Algieri, who looked good and showed boxing finesse. Make those two fight. They're already in the same weight division instead of making motherfuckers come up in weight to face a known world-class elite level fighter like Manny Pacquiao. I'm not for it. I don't want to see a recycled fight with Pacquiao either, but I don't think they should rush. I mean, in recent talks for Pacquiao, he's so limited on opponents at Top Rank. They're trying to make, at one point they were saying Yuri is Gamboa and fucking Pacquiao. You already seen how Gamboa looked. He looked good for the first 4 or 5 rounds against Crawford, but 135 was too big for him. And y'all motherfuckers, y'all don't remember, I did a video about it and everything. They were talking about making a Gamboa and Pacquiao fight. That, you know what I mean, doesn't even make sense. And they know they can't milk the fight with Timothy Bradley, and they can't milk Marquez, or they can't force Marquez. He might not even want a 5th fight. So it's like they're reaching. They're trying to get anyone. Back to Timothy Bradley versus Miguel Cotto. Sorry to get a little sidetracked. I'm just not happy with some of this Garcia, Rod Salka, Manny Pacquiao, Chris Algieri bullshit, and then Timothy Bradley versus Cotto. Now, as far as that fight, the reason why I like both fighters and I'm not just jumping up for joy for this particular fight is I feel like they're at very different ends of the spectrum of their career. Timothy Bradley just took his first pro loss. He was undefeated. Some people thought the first Pacquiao fight was questionable, and he lost against Pacquiao in his last fight, so he's no longer undefeated. Cotto went through his dry spell where he wasn't looking the same. He lost to Mayweather and then he lost to Austin Trout. He reinvented himself, fought Delvin Rodriguez, looked good. Then he moved up another weight class and faced Sergio Martinez and really ran through him and destroyed him. Now he's a middleweight lineal champion, courtesy of beating Sergio Martinez. And they're at almost polar opposites of the spectrum. Cotto rebuilt, went up in weight, and is now the lineal champ at middleweight. And Timothy Bradley just took a first career loss. And this fight would have, I think they're trying to fight for Cotto's titles. It's like, why, if you're not going to fight at middleweight or even like 1 pound or 2 pounds within the middleweight limit, then I don't even see how this is acceptable. Plus, Timothy Bradley is not a known puncher. So I just really don't see that fight being as good as people, you know what I mean? Timothy Bradley, he's already doesn't have respectable power at 147. I mean, it might be decent, but it's not like put you away type of power. And I'm not trying to lessen his power or anything. I'm just being honest. he gets away, and what he excels at is just his intelligence in the ring. He's smart. He knows what to do. So as far as Cotto is a very good boxer himself, and he's a veteran. He has an amateur background. He rips to the body and that kind of thing. So Timothy Bradley going up to 155 pounds, 158, 160 or whatever, I just think that's out of his element. And Cotto should be fighting, if he wants to fight a middleweight, you know what I mean, fight the Rubios of the world, the Triple Gs of the world, the Quillins, Curtis Stevens, any guy like that, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't want to, drop back down to 54, fight like a Canelo, Edeslandi Lara winner, Demetrius Andrade. I mean, Cotto's proven to be elite. And I'm not saying Timothy Bradley isn't, but why pull guys from do you notice a common theme? I'm not a fan of when there's competition in your division and you're pulling guys, especially coming off losses, from lower weight divisions. You know what I'm saying? Or just pulling guys from the, like, if Pacquiao is at 147 and he's been fighting bigger guys, been fighting at 147, why fight a guy that's never fought at 147 who just had a brutal fight in Chris Algieri and pull him up when you have competition in your own division at 147 or looking up at 154? Same thing with Cotto. Why would you be fighting Timothy Bradley, who just had a loss, instead of like rematching Pacquiao, who just had the win, or fighting somebody who's closer to the size in which you're fighting at now, 154, 160? So it really doesn't make sense to pull up these ranks, and you know what I mean, like pull up guys from when you have a stacked division itself. There's tons of guys that can make entertaining fights with Cotto. Cotto fought fucking Delvin Rodriguez, so don't use no bullshit like, oh, Cotto, he needs someone who can hold their own and sell, because he fought Delvin Rodriguez and it was a packed fucking house in New York. So use the same kind of marketing. Cotto has a fan base. Make the fight in New York, Madison Square Garden, and even if he fought a Rubio, that's still going to be a turnout, because against fucking Delvin Rodriguez, it did like 1.3 million fucking views on HBO. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not for this fight at all. Timothy Bradley versus Miguel Cotto. Again, two of my favorite active fighters. Respects to both, but I think Timothy Bradley should be pursuing maybe a Ruslan Provodnikov fight. Now they're both off losses. Timothy Bradley can set the record straight and say, hey, I fought a dumb fight. This is how I should have handled him the first time. Or he's going to lose to Ruslan Provodnikov, whatever the outcome is of that fight. But I think that's a good fight. You already fought Pacquiao, so you work your way back up to a Pacquiao fight. Maybe the winner of Diego Chavez, Brandon Rios, just because it's a new matchup. Maybe fight Marquez. Marquez doesn't really seem like he's into fighting Pacquiao because he's content with the knockout. Now, Marquez lost to Bradley. That's another fight that I wouldn't mind watching again, because neither one of them got knocked out. So, you know what I mean, you can still make that fight. There's other fights to be made. I would even like to see Timothy Bradley rematch Luis Carlos Abregu. He already beat him, but, you know what I mean, Abregu, he's tough. So I'd rather see something like that and see Cotto fight somebody closer to middleweight, you know what I mean, 154 or 160. That's my personal taste. Again, respect. I like both fighters. I just don't think Cotto versus Bradley is a good fight, especially where they're at. If they were both coming off losses and it is what it is, that's one thing. But Miguel Cotto just made history for boxing and became a lineal middleweight champion, the first person from Puerto Rico to have titles in 4 different divisions or weight classes or whatnot. And Timothy Bradley just lost, and he needs to rebuild. So I don't understand why Top Rank would be trying to push this particular fight. But like I said, I like both of them. Let me know if you have a different opinion or if you agree with me. Do you want to see Cotto versus Timothy Bradley? Why or why not? Make sure you like the video. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.